So how did you end up down here in Louisiana?
I ended up down here mainly. They're looking at doing a lot of organic farming here.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's kind of what my specialty is. I've been in it for 12 years, and my father-in-law was the guy who taught me, and we essentially, I used to be a consultant and different things.
So can we go take a look at some of your crops, and you can tell me a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, we can go through. We have vegetables here. We have chickens. We're bringing in cattle. We're converting a lot of the plantation back into organic.
Cool.
And making it more sustainable. Things
Right.
like that.
That sounds great. Let's jump in your truck.
Already. And when we left there, I went back to Wisconsin, and my wife then and I had split up.
Right.
And they had a job posting on the internet, and I always wanted to live in the South and get rid of the snow. And
yeah, well,
so I ended up down here.
It's the middle of January, and or I guess it's February now, and look at this weather.
Yeah. So mainly I oversee all the operations that are under organic. The pecans, we have about 80 acres of pecans. We're transitioning them and doing 15 to 8, and we do some duck hunting to help cost share the expense of maintaining it, and some bow hunting.
And organic, that seems like a term that's used by a lot of people that means different things, but what does that mean out here?
To me, essentially, Louisiana doesn't really have an organic industry. It's very, very far behind in terms of the organic industry or the world. But essentially, it's farming without insecticides, herbicides, pesticides, using non-GMO seeds, working with natural fertilizers, stuff that's not synthetic, and working a lot with different things like that.
Right.
So that would be Jan. Told us we couldn't do this because of climate in Louisiana, but it seems to be working out very, very well.
And so what are these crops right here, mostly?
There's some arugula, there's some broccoli, there's some carrots, there's cabbage, there's turnips, there's different lettuces, there's bok choy, spinach.
And are you going to sell this at farmers markets, or what's your...
We are wholesaling some of it to Jack and Jake's. We are working with some restaurants in Lafayette and Baton Rouge, and we're getting into the farmers markets.
Right.
We wash vegetables, and then on the north side here we'll set up actually booths and things where we'll sell the vegetables, and
so people will come here to get their fresh.
Yep. And we do have about 500 chickens. We're ordering another 500. And we move them around out in pasture.
So they'll be eating grass?
They do eat grass, and they're supplemented with grain.
Okay.
They are in a field of winter oats and winter wheat and things right now, and essentially it was planted late. We were in a severe drought here this summer, so we couldn't get in when we wanted, but the idea is to allow the grain crop to grow to maturity, and then allow, when we pull the chickens through in our chicken tractors or chicken sleds, it allows them to harvest some of their own grain.
Right.
So we don't have to grow so much.
Right. Corliss?
Corwith.
Corwith.
Yes.
Great to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you too.
I'm Trek.
Nice to meet you, Trek.
He's giving me the tour, obviously. It's really...
He can give it as well as I can, that's for sure.
So tell me a little bit of the history of your family's property here. And
my grandfather bought my great-grandfather actually bought this farm in 1927, and then my grandfather bought it from him in 1947.
Oh, okay.
And then it's sort of just been his descendants since then, and still is sort of owned by the whole family.
And you just recently decided to get into organic farming? And
Family really had been looking at the idea for years, with a lot of folks saying along the way, oh, you can't do it,
right.
Nobody can do it in Louisiana. So I don't know, we got a little more serious about it a few years ago, and I took it on as a project along with another cousin of mine, just to research.
Right.
And then the more I did that, the more I just sort of started to really think, boy, this is, not just the right thing for our farm, but the right thing for the world.
Yeah, well, I think it's great. I hope that other people see what you're doing here and realize that it's possible to do.
Yeah,
you know?
well, I mean, I believed, in my heart that it was possible to do, but to actually see that it's possible to do,
Yeah, it
I
doesn't
think
look like
is
it's sparse.
convincing
It
to
looks
me.
pretty healthy to me.
So, yeah, and a lot of that, the work that goes into that is just making sure that you really have very healthy environment, very healthy soil,
Sure.
properly balanced. And so Kurt's been super helpful with that. He's about as much of an expert in that as you can find.
Right, right.
So not exactly with vegetables. So that, and then Jan, who I guess is around here somewhere.
She's up there.
She sort of has this expertise specific to organic vegetable production.
Right.
So together we're sort of making it work.
And this is going to be the
That's what we call that, the harvest barn. It's essentially a big porch surrounded by, and then in the middle, that's a big cooler at the back, a couple processing rooms, a little kitchen, a couple bathrooms, which is important. We actually have no bathroom over here, as you can see right now. So everybody's bathroom right now is their house. So we're trying to get up to
when do you think that'll be done?
It should be done, they say, 60 days to 90 days.
Right.
But that 60-day to 90-day time frame keeps being the
Sure,
time frame
sure.
no matter what point in time we are. So
It's like stepping
hopefully
closer and
soon,
closer to the wall.
And really there, I hope to, in addition to, that's where we'll wash all the vegetables, probably the eggs too, is just to use the front porch as an on-farm farmer's market.
Right, that's great.
And hopefully do it in the evenings where folks can get at this stuff after work.
That would be great.
We're pretty close to town, so I'd like to be able to do that, because I know that, if it's a farmer's market between like 9 and 11 on a Tuesday, you got to sort of otherwise be playing tennis or something.
So what do you think you guys will be helping out other people with tips and advice if they need it, if they want to start their own?
I mean, there's not much, there's not too large of a community of sort of sustainable farmers in Louisiana, but it's rich, and everybody is super helpful. I mean, and you need all the help you can get.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Of course, and in fact, part of the challenge that we have is that there isn't as much of an industry and the networks that are so important to make that happen. So we have to do a lot of stuff on our own that I would love it if there's somebody here making organic compost,
Well,
I'm buying it.
Yeah.
So, and we try and make some on our own, but that's another whole operation.
Yeah, sure.
And one farmer doesn't a farmer's market make either.
Right.
Right. I do want to be able to maybe sell some other folks' stuff, but regardless of that, have other folks selling their stuff. So
Yeah,
that
would be
for
great.
A good market.
That'd
Which
be
there
great.
are. There are local vendors doing some stuff around here, but not enough sort of markets to have a really robust sort of local.
Right. Okay, so tell me about what you're just about to say.
Well, my understanding is that there is this rich relationship between Louisiana and Haiti, because the island of Saint-Domingue was this big sort of sugar outpost for the French. And when there was the big slave revolt, I think the only successful one in world history, the French didn't have as much importance put on their supply outpost, which was New Orleans. So that, and I think some financial issues they had.
Right.
They had Louisiana Purchase and like more than a third of our country, or
Yeah.
whatever it is.